Hello, Dragon Slayers of the internet. I'm Jamie. Let's hang out and watch episode 7. We're already at 7 of Frieren, like a fairy tale. Now, I know I said Dragon Slayers, but that makes me very sad at the same time. But I had to go. I get it. The village was in danger otherwise. So I wrote some things down, not too much this time, based off the last episode. And somebody actually had commented on YouTube about this, but I thought of it right after the last episode. But I said, I just realized that Frieren is taking on people of the next generation to her previous one. So the companions, for Hyder, we have Fern, for Eisen, we have Stark, so pretty cool. And then obviously she has herself, but she also had a connection to Himmel. So I'm just wondering, is that it? Though we see other people in the intro, or are we going to get somebody that's more of an equivalent to Himmel? And if so, will they have more of an impact than the other two on her? I don't know. Just curious, but it's an interesting little dichotomy that's happening. When it was showing the gate transition of Fern, Frieren, and Stark getting ready to leave, and then switching to Himmel, Frieren, Eisen, and I feel like I said all of the names. Frieren, Himmel, Eisen, and Hyder. There we go. It's pretty easy to pick up on this, but they're all wearing the same outfits constantly. And that makes them recognizable, and I think it fits, it's good. Plus, back in the day, you probably didn't have a lot of choice for different things, though they are the heroes, so you think that they would be given a lot of, things to wear or the money for it, but I digress. But it just makes me think of shows where they do actually change up the outfits, so things like Card Captors or Totally Spies, or even with Inuyasha, even though they generally stick to the same outfits, they do have special occasions where they wear different things. So just I'm curious if we'll get to see a little bit of a change up there. And then the last thing I wrote is that I was just wondering if Frieren, obviously she likes to stay in one place for a while, get everything done, learn all the spells that she can, and I feel like I would be that way as well. But what I'm wondering is she trying to learn as many spells as she can before they get to supposed to learn how to pronounce it. Oriel is how I'm going to pronounce it, because that way she can kind of show, Hyder and Himmel and potentially Eisen, depending by the time they get there, but I don't think so, considering we need to make it back for Stark's sake. But I'm wondering if she's trying to learn all the spells that she can, so that way once she gets there, she can show Himmel. Somebody did recommend I watch at least an episode or two of the dub, so I can figure out how things are pronounced. So I need to remember to do that. And I guess one hesitation I had with that was, for example, no spoilers, but with Attack on Titan, they tend to pronounce things very differently in the dub than they do in the sub. So this video is for commentary and discussion purposes only. All rights belong to the original creators, so please support the official release. I'm glad you chose to spend a little bit of your day with me and share in this awesome journey. If you end up liking the reaction, a like goes a long way and just let me know that, hey, you did enjoy it and that you'd like me to continue. Alright, I appreciate you hanging out. Let's get into the reaction. The Grimoire by Flame, the legendary mage. They did say that before. Why do you want the fakes then? It is true, though we know better. The founder. So why don't you confirm? Okay. Now you're being open, because I guess they didn't know that beforehand. That's cool. The butterflies are kind of creepy up close. Why does he always have that expression on his face? Yes, after everything we've seen. Good job! Ah, yeah. That's a way to wake up in the morning. They're already working together. Now, they do say if you are consistent for, let's say, at least 2 weeks, and you go to bed at the same time, even on weekends, your body, unless your circadian rhythm is totally askew, which is fair, because everyone has different natural circadian rhythms, but if you do that consistently, Your body should naturally just wake you up, or at least you won't be as tired when you do get up. I knew they'd be friends. Cute. I like the art on the ground there. Okay, so that was her. It must have been him. And then we saw a few other characters. And now we did have a focus on the present from Freerin. And there's Flame. So yeah, I'm very curious about that line about her begging for her life, which supposedly we're going to find out. But the founder of magic. That's pretty interesting. To learn from the founder. Like a fairy tale. 28 years. Heng Road. Northern Lands. Yep, we're finally there after the checkpoint, which I finally understood. I didn't realize the city itself was the checkpoint. I thought it was further along, so that's my bad. Would you do it without a reward? Fern's very thoughtful. Yeah, I was gonna say. Fern's had to convince you many a time. Fun outfit. Monsters? Yeah, it is a lot though, dang. But apparently he has just mana. Mana? Mana or mana? I say mana. Is it like a Mr. Frodo sort of thing? Maybe it's a sign of respect for her. Less formal, yeah. Very true. No. That would be very kind of you. Pretty. Yeah, that's a great question actually. How many? Wonder why. My brain was leaning there, so okay. Wow. Flashback to something. I guess back in medieval times, I'm guessing, it was very common to have walls around, since battles were a lot more common, but I could be completely wrong there. Cool. Gorgeous. Does he not recognize her? It's the little things, the transient pleasures. It's true. Yeah, he would recognize her then. She would look the same as the statue. What pose is this going to be? The same? Good one? Okay. Which I think is fair. It's worth remembering. Legacies. To remember the four of you together? Yeah, she really doesn't know. We're not fairy tales. Great coloring. It's gorgeous. He was very forward thinking in a lot of different ways in a few episodes. Okay, so he didn't recognize. Weird, you're even wearing the same sort of outfit. If it still stands. And if they still value that, but eventually it turns into a myth, or did that really happen that way? Must have been an exaggeration. This music. Granites? Seeing lots of different little towns. There were a fair bit in the northern checkpoint town too, though. He looked really long in that shot. Interesting. Oh my gosh. I mean, they look very nice.
確かにわしはお前たちを
The music, very sinister.
死者を手にかけるほどバカではない。
I see. They're trying to make peace.
冷静で殺意のこもった冷たい目だ。
お前たち魔族は人の声真似をするだけの。
屋敷の力を握れておけ。
Okay. I'm gonna have faith.
暇だな。
Well, should have, maybe spoke a little differently.
2、3年は反省しろってさ。
Oh my gosh. Again, Fern's gonna hate that.
フリーレン様は本当に時間を無駄にするのが好きですね。
That's because her values are different.
担当台のアウラは知っていますよね。
Okay.
アウラは28年も前に力を取り戻しています。
Oh, wow. 20. Okay. For 28 years. Wow.
魔族との対話なんて無駄な行為だ。
If we're thinking classic demons, then yeah.
解決しないから無駄なんだよ。
If that's their ultimate end goal, then yeah.
を使う理由を考えたことはある。
As like a way to trick them? Lower their guards?
早くとどめよ。
Oh, is this the flashback?
それがどうしたというの？
これでは魔族と同じだな。
I'm worried something's gonna happen to that girl. I wouldn't let you get so close.
ちょうど畑の手伝いを探していたところ。
This is gonna hurt my heart, isn't it?
どうせこの村には滞在するんだ。様子を見ようじゃないか。
Yeah, but as soon as you leave, right? Again, I want to look at it with a wholesome lens. Because that's what this show has taught me to do. But we already know something goes astray. Even though they're hanging out and trying to make connections.
殺しておくべきだったんだわ。またです。
There, what is again?
私は平穏に過ごしたい。
Okay.
ですから用意しました。私が食べてしまった。
I see their logic, but it's not an equivalency. Yeah. I get it.
私は何か選択を間違えてしまったようですね。
They just don't get the cues for society.
もう止めないよね。
The music very much adds to this.
魔族は魔物と同じで子育ての習慣が。
Yeah, so just using what they've imitation for pity.
って言葉を使うの。
Yeah.
殺せなくなるでしょ。
Now, if they
にとっ
hadn't
ての言葉は。
felt the hate from that couple, would they have done what they have done? Maybe not, but they probably would have done something else with that logic in their head.
魔族と定義づけた。獲物をおびき寄せるために。
That makes sense.
差し入れよろしくね。
我ら魔族の本
That is good to know. Creepy
こ
music.
の町ももう長くはないな。
No, you let them into the walls.
全て脱獄しよっと。
That's scary. So Fern and Stark, can you do anything?
ご子息は今どちらに？
Has cracked.
10年前にアウラとの戦いで死んだ。お前たちを招き入れたのは息子の無念を晴らすためだ。
So they were both trying to deceive. Are they going to try to say something?
私もあなた方に殺された父上の
See? I hope Fern and Stark show up.
誰かを悲しませるつもりですか？
You know better than this, I'm assuming.
どうか話し合いの機会を。
I'm worried.
少し
He's just gonna go, No, okay.
父上って何？
なんだろうね。人情に熱いお方のようだ。
I hate that I love her outfit.
あとはアウラ様の軍勢がこの町を滅ぼしてくださる。
Cool animation again. Oh, is it the red? Yeah. The person and the intro.
邪魔者を消しに行くってさ。
If they're solitary, why are they hanging out? Are they like a pack?
ところに来られては困ります。客室
Well, that was easy.
誰？面会時間ではないはずだけど。
How did you even get into the cell?
お前を殺しに来た。
Okay, did you need to tell me?
俺よりもか？
I hope so, and I
断
assume
頭台
so.
のアウラよりも。
Cliffhanger right there. I like that. Do. Interesting. Okay. So this was kind of, in a way, the first like dark episode in my opinion. There's been kind of moments here and there of like sad things or, you know, darker elements, but this one was darkest, I'd say. There was one line in there I'll have to go back when I'm editing and see about Flame. The only thing I really added to my book that I haven't said was that it seems that demons think very logically, very like, I guess he was thinking ahead a little bit, but he was more going off of the information that was provided to him at the end there. But it's not based on feeling so much. Now that may not be the same for all demons, but it's very much calculated. So who has the bigger advantage or disadvantage, you might wonder, because yes, as we saw, the demons utilized the emotions to their advantage for survival purposes, but if they only think very logically, you know, how smart are they? Is it possible to trick them, giving them certain information? I don't know. So I think that's a very interesting dilemma and something that we can hopefully use to our advantage. However, we have Frieren, though she doesn't have her staff. I'm not quite sure where Stark and Fern are, but I'm hoping they're keeping guard and keeping watch. But this feels almost like, well, I mean, it is essentially like a two-parter, unless we just come back and all of a sudden she goes, bam, bam, everything's gone. But I'm not going to say too much for this one because I really just want to get to the next one and see where it goes. If you ended up liking the reaction, a like goes a long way in just letting me know that you enjoy what I'm doing and I should keep doing it. Feel free to subscribe and join the community so we can all talk about our love of TV shows, movies, whatever it is, because I love, well, essentially that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I really like being a part of these communities that have a passion for these things or just enjoy it. You know, you don't have to have a passion. And as always, thank you so much for choosing to spend a little bit of your day with me, wherever you are and whenever it is. I hope something good finds you today, and I'll catch you in the next video. So, peace. Bye.